Hi, this is Sarit Switzer, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast, a podcast devoted to the teachings of Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi as recorded in his most famous work, the Tanya. My hope for this show is to make these teachings accessible and relatable to the average person, regardless of prior Jewish education or affiliation. The episodes follow the prescribed daily study portions and are meant to serve as practical lessons in how to live your life as your true self and develop an authentic and powerful relationship with your Creator. I have personally experienced the effects the study of this work has had on me, and I'm excited to share what I can of this knowledge with you. So please join me on this journey of learning, self-growth, and connection with your source. Hi, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast, episode 28. This is for the 16th of Teves in a leap year. And today we're going to continue with chapter 10, where we were discussing the difference between the different types of tzaddikim, of righteous people. So if you remember from last time, we said that one big essential difference and one defining feature of a complete tzaddik is that they have totally transformed the negativity with them to such a point that they no longer like physical pleasure for its own sake, but they only derive pleasure in God. So that there absolutely is no negativity within them at all. And we contrasted this with the incomplete tzaddik, where the incomplete tzaddik has succeeded in conquering their animal soul to the point that the negativity within them is squashed and is nullified, but it's still there. It's just lying dormant. So the Alter Rebbe is going to today focus a little bit more on this incomplete tzaddik and talk about what, a little bit more of what that is and about all the different levels that there could be within this level of incomplete tzaddik and how a complete tzaddik is actually something extremely rare. So let's start learning this a little bit based on the text. So he says that an incomplete tzaddik, this is somebody who does not hate the sitra achra, the other side, completely. So if you remember yesterday, we said that the complete tzaddik has such a profound love of God that it cannot stand to have anything that is opposed to God at all. And the sitra achra is the epitome of that which is opposed to God. It is by definition that which is against God and conceals God from the world. And the way that manifests itself is through the physical pleasures of this world. So the incomplete tzaddik is not on this level. So the incomplete tzaddik does not have this hatred for the sitra achra with a complete hatred. And thus, they don't hate evil so much. But rather, there's actually a little bit of a remnant of this love. Like they have deep within them, just like everybody else, just like all of us, they do have a little bit of this desire and pleasure for these kinds of things, for physicality. And they were not able to totally remove the filthy garments, is what the Alter Rebbe calls them, which is what the complete tzaddik was able to do, as we talked about yesterday, that he was able to totally remove these garments from anything negative. The incomplete tzaddik is not able to do this totally because there's still a hold. These things still have a hold on them. Like there's still a temptation there basically. So in plain English, what it's saying is that an incomplete tzaddik still has latent within them on some kind of level. They are tempted by the pleasures of the physical world. The only thing is this pleasure, this temptation is so nullified within them, it's as if it's not even there at all. So that's why we do call them a tzaddik. It's somebody, it's not even within their realm that they would, go into that world of indulgence and all that stuff, because it is so totally subdued and nullified to them. However, it is still there on some level. And the fact that it's still there, the fact that this small bit of temptation still lies within them, albeit in a dormant way, this means, if remember, there's this direct relationship between hatred and love. This means that their love for God is not complete the way that the love of a complete tzaddik is for God. Now, the Alter Rebbe says that this level of an incomplete tzaddik, which we're talking about, can be divided into numerous levels, into a myriad of levels, to the point where they can have varying degrees of negativity within them. So if you remember, we talked about in in going back a while in one of the previous episodes, I can't say offhand which one it was, we talked about how, the 4 elements within the animal soul and how each one of these elements manifests as a negative character trait. So for different types of incomplete tzaddikim, they may still have these negative character traits, one more powerful than the other or stronger than the other in different varying degrees. So for example, the Alter Rebbe says, some people that are in this category of incomplete tzaddik have managed to nullify their evil to good at a ratio of 1 to 60. For another, it could be 1 to 1,000. And for another, it could be 1 to 10,000. And he says that there's like a multiplicity of these kinds of incomplete tzaddikim in generation. And this is alluded to in the Gemara and Masachet Sukkah 45b, and also in Sanhedrin 97b, and it's where it talks about that there are 18,000 tzaddikim who stand before God. So these incomplete tzaddikim are, that they're not, I wouldn't say that they're super common. It's not something that like the average person is this type of thing, but they are very numerous in every generation. However, this second category, the category of a complete tzaddik, this is something that's very rare. So, and the Alter Rebbe brings support for this from the Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who says in the Zohar, in the first part of the Zohar on page 4a, he says, I saw that there were the children of ascent, and they were very few. He says, Ra'iti bnei aliyah vehem muatim. And so what does this mean, children of ascent? So according to the Alter Rebbe, these children of ascent are specifically these complete tzaddikim. Why are they called the children of ascent? Because it's specifically the complete tzaddikim that are able to take the negativity within them and to rise it up, to ascend it up to holiness. And he brings support for this again from the Zohar in the introduction to the Zohar, where there's a story that's told about Rabbi Chia, who wanted to go up to the chamber of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he heard a voice come out and say that only one who has converted darkness to light and bitter taste to sweetness may enter this chamber. So that's the end of the portion for today. And so just a little recap is, again, we're discussing the category of tzaddikim, of righteous people, and how there's 2 general categories with that. In that, there's the incomplete tzaddik, and then there's the complete tzaddik. The incomplete tzaddik is one who has not fully transformed their evil, the negativity within them, but they've only merely subdued it. And the complete tzaddik is somebody who has transformed it to such a point that all of the passion of the animal soul is actually directed to God. And then in today, we really focused on this idea that this in this category of the incomplete tzaddik, there's actually a multiplicity of levels. So being an incomplete tzaddik just means that the negativity within the person is subdued. It hasn't been totally eliminated, but how much it still exists within there can vary from tzaddik to tzaddik, and it can vary tremendously from 1 to 60 to 1 to 10,000 we talked about. And we talked about how these tzaddikim, these incomplete tzaddikim, are extremely numerous in every generation. Again, not common, but they are numerous. However, this category of the complete tzaddik, which the Alter Rebbe brings this new term here from the Zohar, which he calls the children of ascent, the bnei aliyah, are actually extremely rare. And so that is it. And tomorrow we will conclude this chapter 10, and I'll speak with you then. Thanks for listening to the It Is Taught podcast, hosted by Sarit Switzer. This podcast is dedicated in loving memory of my maternal grandfather, Avraham Yitzchak ben Binyamin HaKohen of blessed memory. Music by Shoshana. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the show, please share it with others and subscribe on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To find out more about the It Is Taught project, including more information on my soon-to-be published book, please visit our website, itistaught.com. To catch the latest from me, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow, and until then, have a great day.